Unique by Will Mancini is one of my favorites when it comes to actually understanding how to implement missional vision. Both at Raleigh First and at Decatur First, we use that text to really, flesh out what the vision was going to be specifically for the congregation. In those processes, what I learned is that vision has to be both simple and specific. Both. It has to be simple enough that people are able to engage it and get it and memorize it, but it also has to be specific enough that it hones in on the different aspects of ministry where people can actually do more than memorize it and indeed engage it. Let me give you an example from Decatur First, because I believe the team there, we worked harder on re-articulating and implementing the vision there than anywhere I'd ever served previously. At D1 NAS, the vision, after about 5-6 months of processing with my staff, the statement itself ended up being grow in faith, love people intentionally, and serve the world together. Again, grow in faith, love people intentionally, and serve the world together. Now, in a generic way, we promoted that vision with 3 primary words. Those words were grow, love, serve. Grow, love, serve. All 3 one-syllable words, very easy to say, very easy to understand, very easy to get your mind around what that means. We did a campaign where there wasn't one hallway or one place, one classroom, one conference room, the sanctuary, all of our projectors, everywhere in the building. You could not turn without seeing our logo, Grow, Love, Serve. We had billboards in town. All of our brochures, anytime we advertised, Grow, Love, Serve. Grow, Love, Serve. If you ask anybody associated with our congregation very long, and you said, what is the vision of Decatur First Church of the Nazarene? They would have told you, pretty simply, grow, love, serve. In a more specific way, we tied the idea of growing, loving, and serving to everything we did as a congregation. The vision was tied to our Helping Hands food and clothing ministry. That ministry had grown over the years to where it was serving 5,000 people a year who needed groceries and clothing in the metro area of Decatur. Now think about that. Part of our mission with those people included, or our vision with those people included, an aspect of growing, helping them grow in their faith, loving them intentionally through that ministry, and then serving the world together. How could we reach beyond those people just showing up at the church through the connections being made there? It was linked to our Celebrate Recovery ministry. Many of you are familiar with recovery ministries. We intentionally tied aspects of helping those folks grow in their faith, loving those folks intentionally by helping meet their needs and building relationships with them, and then serving them by reaching beyond where they were in the given moment, into their households, into their communities, helping them. It was connected to our Treasured Adoption ministry. It was connected with our Zadaka Healthcare ministry in downtown Decatur. I could go on and on, because Grow, Love, Serve, it was connected to our Sunday morning worship services. There was an element of growing, loving, and serving in every single thing we did. We were very intentional, and we pointed it out to our people. This is our catalyst for making Christ-like disciples in the nations. It is our catalyst for accomplishing the mission of Christ in the world. Grow, love, serve. Now, eventually, that grew into a greater dream. I called it Vision 2.0, because Vision 1.0 is to make sure we're always growing, loving, and serving. That's more of a generic, if you will, or simple rendition of what the vision entailed. It began to get more specific as we began to think of different ways for the different people groups in our church to be ministered to effectively. It turned into a dream of an addition to our building, where we ended up building an addition. We started a building campaign to add an addition to be dedicated as a place of ministry for children from the time they're born to the time they graduate high school. So we added a 25,000 square foot addition with a gym, and the whole idea behind that is so we could fulfill the vision of growing, loving, and serving in the lives of our children. So we had a children's theater. Well, we put together children's classrooms that was going to be safe, a safe place for them to grow, a way to check in to where the hallways were safe and people couldn't just wander in at any moment. We had a youth room that turned into a cafe slash coffee shop slash gaming area that was a safe place for our teens to be able. And then we used that as a place to train them in order to send them out and to engage them in the other ministries going on in the church that I earlier described. So that's where the vision got more specific. Simple, grow, love, serve, generic, everybody can say that. But later it turned into being implemented in every ministry in the church. It wasn't like our youth had their own vision and our children had their own vision and our daycare had its own vision. No, the vision for everything involved under the umbrella of Decatur First Church of the Nazarene had to do with helping people grow in their faith, love others intentionally, and serve the world holistically. So grow, love, serve. Now, one of the biggest differences between mission and vision, and there is a difference, is that vision should have an aspect that is more specific in its meaning. In a way, your ultimate mission as a church is, Christ gave us that in the Great Commission in Matthew 28, to go make disciples in the world. And that's something we continue to work towards until Christ returns. I think the vision has to do with how we're making those disciples. Now, when you're casting vision, people need to know where they're going right now. What does this look like for my life right now? They need to know what is the next milestone, and it needs to be close enough so they can see it. For example, reach people. Well, that isn't really a clear vision to reach people if we just left it at that and we just walked around saying, hey, we're going to reach people. Now, how are you going to reach people? Specifically, what is your goal in reaching people? If you say, we're going to reach people through building an effective youth ministry and hiring a youth pastor, and we're going to reach 50 children in our neighborhood by the end of the year, you see, that's more specific. Then you have to start planning around what it means to reach people. It makes people think more deeply than, hey, we're just a church that's about reaching people. No, well, here's the end goal, and how are we going to do that? Well, that's the vision. That's the catalyst. Now, it's really hard for people to get excited about a generic vision. If all we ever did was walk around saying, grow, love, serve, grow, love, serve, grow, love, serve at Decatur First Church of the Nazarene, it'd be tough for people to wrap their minds around, well, I understand what those words mean, but what do they mean for us right here, right now? And I think as people got involved in all the various ministries and saw that idea being fleshed out, and then they saw the building come together that we were building, it caused so much excitement for the people in that community. Now, using D1 NAS as an example, again, a survey revealed, we took a survey after about a year in, and it revealed that over 90% of our regular attenders could quote the phrase, grow, love, serve. When asked, what is the vision of this church? They could say, grow, love, serve. And that was a good place to start. But we also learned that a large portion of people needed to be taught on how to elaborate on specific ways that they were engaged in growing, loving, and serving. So the challenge, as you read through Mancini's work, is going to be to make the vision simple enough that everyone can remember it and everyone can understand it, but to make it detailed enough that people find a sense of purpose and meaning in how they identify with it. I hope that helps you as you read through the text this week.